Hello students, today we are going to move ahead with the topic making connections with the text. In the last video, we talked about how do we make connections with the text and also the importance of making connections. When we make connections while reading, it helps us make better sense of the events, characters and situations in a given story. And there are namely 3 ways to make connections. The first one is text to self connection, text to text connection and text to world connection. In the last video, we have talked about the text to self connection and today we are going to elaborate text to text connection. Now, as the name implies, text to text connection means connecting one story with another story. Now, let's see what does it mean. Connections that are drawn between 2 different texts with similar characters, scenarios or elements. So when you read a story, ask yourself some questions. Are there any other texts with similar events or situations? Do I know any other stories with similar characters? Then you tend to make text to text connections. So let's elaborate more on this. I'll read out a story for you. It's a very famous story, The Nightingale and the Rose, by a famous short story writer, Oscar Wilde. The Nightingale and the Rose by Oscar Wilde. The story begins with a young student who is deeply in love with a beautiful girl. The student wants to attend a grand ball with the girl he loves, but he can't because he doesn't have a red rose to give her. A nightingale overhears the student's lament and decides to help him. She goes out in search of a red rose. After searching for it everywhere, she comes to know about a way of getting the rose. She has to give her heart's blood to a white flower and make it red. She believes that it is worth giving her life for the sake of true love. The nightingale sacrifices her life to create a red rose for the student. Now, despite the nightingale's sacrifice, the rose is not good enough for the girl. When the boy gives her the rose, she says it won't match her new dress. Besides, the chamberlain's nephew has offered her real jewels which cost much more than flowers and she refuses to dance with the student. The student gets angry and throws the rose into the street and it is crushed under the wheels of a passing cart. The story explores themes of sacrifice, love and the superficiality of human desires. It highlights the purity of the nightingale's sacrifice contrasted with the shallowness of human desires. Now that you've heard the story, The Nightingale and the Rose by Oscar Wilde, let me take you to another story by another writer, O. Henry, and the story titles The Gift of the Magi. The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry. It is a story that revolves around a young couple, Jim and Della, who struggle financially but deeply love each other. With Christmas approaching, Jim and Della decide to buy each other gifts despite their limited funds. Della decides to sell her most prized possession, her long hair, in order to buy a chain for Jim's cherished pocket watch. Meanwhile, Jim decides to sell his pocket watch to purchase combs for Della's beautiful hair. On Christmas Eve, they exchange their gifts, only to discover that they have both sacrificed their most prized possessions to buy gifts for each other. They realize that their sacrifices have made the gifts useless. However, this reveals the true depth of their love and the importance of their sacrifices. The story ends on a poignant note, highlighting the power of love and selflessness as Jim and Della realize that their love for each other is the greatest gift of all. The narrator compares Jim and Della's gifts to those of the biblical Magi, mirroring the spirit of generosity and giving. The Gift of the Magi explores themes of selflessness, love, and the true meaning of wealth and generosity. Now, students, that we have talked about 2 different stories, The Nightingale and the Rose and The Gift of the Magi. These are 2 different stories by 2 different short story writers, but there's a connect between the 2 stories. And what is the connect? The connect is in the theme of sacrifice and love, offering reflections on the true meaning of giving and receiving in relationships. There are more connections that can be built upon using these two stories. Let's have a look. First, we can have connection, basic sacrifice for love, materialism, and unexpected twists that are found in both these stories. So basically, when we talk about text-to-text connection, it is connecting one story with another. Now students, that you have done text-to-text connection, it's a very simple task for you. I'm sure you would be able to do this text. And now in future, when you read any story, think about different story that connects with the story that you have read. So enjoy reading and happy learning.